When you go through and you watch the film, those first few games, and then you watch the last couple, I think that the biggest thing that stuck out to me was the play of the quarterback. He's really way more comfortable than he was early on. You can just tell with his feet and where his eyes are going, how he's releasing the football. Even the velocity on the ball just seems to be with a lot more confidence. And I think that's huge. The play of your quarterback really is instrumental to your success on offense. And we've seen the last couple of weeks of some really good quarterbacks, and those guys made their teams go. And I think this young man is no different. And so as his play has continued to improve, everything around him is improved as well. And obviously the tailback Jackson is pretty special, and they've gotten him more carries. If you look at the numbers, the last few games, and so I feel like that, he's kind of getting into his little niche with their system there offensively. So I think those are probably the two key things that stick out from the first couple.
What do you see? How's he emerged as a player? What do you see from him?
He's just we were watching him a lot yesterday, and he just catches everything. I mean, he's diving for the ball. I mean, it's just it's really impressive. And I would say that'd probably be the third thing after watching the first couple. They dropped a lot of balls early in the season, and has ceased the last few weeks. But he's impressive. Now he gets open. He's just kind of has that little swagger about him. You can tell he's got that cockiness in a good way. He's very confident, and just the way he carries himself on the field, I think he really believes he's the man, and that's what you want. So they've got it kind of going on right now with those three players. They've done a great job.
You guys had shut Nebraska out after the first quarter until kind of a unfortunate 72-yard play where you had guys collide. Mm-hmm. But having played very solidly, what was different about that last drive where they took 7+ minutes off the clock? What could have been better there?
Yeah, and that was where, as it was happening, I was frustrated at the time because they really weren't doing things differently. We were using some similar calls per the personnel that they were using, but I knew it was the fits just from you just knew. And then you go back and watch the film, and it was even more frustrating because that's exactly what it was, and it was just small things, the things that we weren't doing, and that's why I was able to use that with our guys and talk about really played well the majority of the time. But when we had to have it in that final drive, we needed one more takeaway. We needed one more stop. And it was not fitting the run right. A guy not scraping or a guy not spilling or this or that. And I think a couple guys might have been playing too many snaps. And I think they get there at the end, a little fatigue might set in. And that was my challenge to the twos. We got to have more twos step up so we get some of these key guys, get some rest earlier in the game, and to allow us to be able to be at our best, and also challenge those guys. And some of those were in there. I froze. In fact, I got to one of the plays. It was 6 minutes and I think 12 seconds to go in the game, and I froze it. And there was about 4 or 5 guys that are not starters on the field. And I pointed each one of them. I said, you have to take ownership when you're in the game with 6 minutes to go to win the game and be the top 10 team in the country. You do that on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday during walkthroughs, during practice, the mental reps, the physical reps that you're going to get, and being at your best, and being able to count on you in those critical situations. So I think it's a culmination of those, and it's our depth and just getting us to a position where, we're not just content with playing good. We want to be great. And that was the whole challenge. Matter of fact, I used the book, Good to Great. I brought it to the meeting on Sunday. I have it in my library. And that's why it's hard to go from being good to great. That's why a lot of books have been written about it. Because it takes a lot of mental discipline and a lot of little things that a lot of people aren't willing to do to become great. And that's what we needed to be able to be the top 10 team in that situation, and we fell short.
Sean really defended a couple of deep balls competitively Saturday. How are they kind of emerging in confidence and performance on the outside?
Yeah, I think you saw evidence of it Saturday, that their confidence is really growing. And they did a really good job against some talented receivers, and doing a great job of squeezing routes and getting their head around and getting their hands on the balls. And the one with Marcelino was just kind of a fluky thing. I mean, you couldn't ask him to play it any better. And then the one at the end, the 72-yarder, that's one where it was actually underthrown, and so it kind of makes it hard on the corner. So he goes to turn his head around, and the receiver sees the ball, and the ball is underthrown and thrown to the inside. And then the crazy thing was, I froze that frame, and we had three guys all had him in a triangle within 2 yards of the receiver right before he caught it, and then all of a sudden he catches it, and those two guys hit each other, and then obviously he's off. So, but just little things like that, I think you've seen progress for sure in playing those deep balls, and they're a critical part of playing great defense because teams are going to take those shots. And so, but I definitely feel like that their confidence has grown. They've made plays. We're not going to beat ourselves up over, one play that, we wish we had back. But we had, that was the great thing about that game. We had a chance to flush it. Our offense responded, came right down and scored, brought it back to within 2, and here we go. So that was another teachable moment with our young team. And we got a lot of guys that just got to continue to just keep growing and keep pressing on and getting better a little bit every day.
Top of the league now in tackles. How much of that is 4-2-5, and how much of it is just him playing better?
Well, I do believe, and I challenged him about this, I do believe per our system that position requires a young man that can finish those plays. And I challenged him about some former players that have played in this system and at that spot and how productive they were. And but obviously it's on him. He has to make those plays. And so I feel like that ultimately he's the one that has to rise up. He's the one that gets the credit for making those plays because, you can be in that position and even though, you may be schematically there to make a play, you still got to finish it against elite players every single week. And so, I'm just so proud of him. But he's a guy I think we're probably getting maybe a little bit too many snaps out of early in the game, and I think he got a little fatigue some set in. And I challenged him about it. I love T. Gray, and he played his tail off, but he had some mistakes in that final drive and some missed tackles and things that he hadn't done earlier in the game. And so, he had a great game, but I want him to finish, and I want his backup to be able to be trusted so he can be in there making plays as well, so we can get him a break and be able to play, all those snaps. But T. Gray has responded, and he's played the way I thought he would. After spending time with him this spring, I knew he was a special player, had to get his mind right, had to get his preparation right, and he's responded. So really, really proud of him, and he gets the credit for that.
Speaking of backups, who's really come on that you've seen in practice and whatnot, or who do you need to see come on more?
Chris Covington is one that has really come on. Like to see him playing more. And we challenged him about that, and ourselves as coaches, we talked it through, and he needs to. He's doing a great job on special teams. Chase Dutra is another one that each week has gotten healthier and healthier, and I see him playing more and more each week as well, and probably going to be able to use him at both safety positions to get him a lot more reps. And I think he's healthy now, and he's hungry, and he wants to be out there, and that's what you want. And he's obviously, so I think we have 3 high quality guys for those 2 positions. And so he's going to be another one. And I think that you saw the rise of Ashawn and how he was able to prove it. And he's done a great job on the field. And I think Robert McCray is another one that has a different skill set than some of our guys at that position and can do some great things. We got to get him now to the point where he plays the run as well as he rushes the passer. And the discipline of playing those techniques. And so those are the guys that come to mind. But we have several 2s that we've challenged to be able to say, we need you to rise up. This defense needs you. This team needs you. And we've got to see that growth this week. And I think I fully expect that.